Norma Holland is live in Rochester this morning. She is on Reservoir Avenue, and if you've never been there before, I think it's perhaps one of the prettiest streets in the city. Wouldn't you say, Norma?
I would say so, Holly. I would say so. But you know what? It is no wonder that Reservoir Avenue is so pretty. It's right near Highland Park. It actually goes right through Highland Park. And you're in this area, in this neighborhood, where there's the Lamberton Conservatory, Mount Hope Cemetery, as we said, the Highland Park, the legacy of the Lilac Festival. You've got a history of horticulture, if you will, in this neighborhood. And the people that live on this street really take that seriously, and they really take pride in their homes. I mean, they really, they come out here. They love to garden together. I mean, I think the neighborhood that gardens together stays together, perhaps. And so this morning we're going to talk to some of the folks that live on this street who love to get out and get their hands in the dirt and beautify their homes and share their plans. And I'm having a field day because I bought a house a couple years ago, and my husband and I love to get out in the garden, my husband especially. So I'm like looking around going, that's Pachysandra. Oh, look, it's myrtle. Oh, and look at the beautiful juniper bush. And this morning we're going to talk all about that. And this is a neighborhood, like I said, that loves its plants, it loves its greenery, but it does it all to create a sense of neighborhood. They have ice cream socials. There's a big yard sale going on today, in fact. If you're looking for a yard sale, come to Reservoir Ave. The neighbors are getting together for a huge yard sale, and I went into one of the neighbors' homes. They've got a lot of nice stuff for sale. So if you're interested in gardening, you should come down here to get some ideas. Apparently, the neighbors say sometimes people jog through here, and they just end up stopping and going, that's really cool. And in fact, some of the yards, there's no grass. It's all flowers, all plants.
Wow.
We're going to get some inspiration this morning, some horticultural inspiration. I know I will.
Yeah, and so it's not really like they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's just because they kind of get inspired by the other neighbors that they want to have such a pretty yard as well.
It really is, Holly. And if you see your neighbor doing, I mean, that's really how it is. It's infectious, if you will. If you see your neighbor doing something nice with their house, you naturally want to keep up, and you naturally want to have something nice as well. And that's the secret to this street, is everybody feels that way, and a lot of people who live in the city feel that way about their neighborhoods, and that's kind of the sense of community that they're trying to foster here, that they have been fostering for many years. And we're going to talk to them about that this morning, maybe give you some ideas for your garden at home.
Yes, they're very lucky. I know I didn't grow up in a neighborhood like that where they were that cohesive and that pretty. There's more ahead on 13 WHAM News this morning. Coming up.
WHAM Rochester. This is 13 WHAM News This Morning.
And good morning, 5:31. It is Friday, the 14th of July. I'm Doug Embledge.
I'm Holly Maynard.
And I'm Norma Holland, and on Reservoir Avenue in the city of Rochester, talking to the neighbors of this street. They get together to garden together. Gardening's a big deal. In fact, I don't think anyone even owns a lawnmower here. Everyone, the whole yard's taken up by flowers.
Really?
We'll talk to them in just a bit. Yep.
Neat. Okay. Thanks, Norma.
Meteorologist Marty Snyder's here with a check of our...
And we're going to go back to the gardener, Norma Holland.
The constant gardener.
That's right. You're the constant gardener.
You learning a lot there on Reservoir Avenue?
Oh, Holly, I'm getting so much inspiration. There are houses on this street that don't have any grass at all. They don't have any grass. The entire yard is taken up by wildflowers. If you can see, this is one of the houses. In fact, this house here is pesticide-free. They don't use any pesticides. And this morning, we're going to talk to the folks about this. I mean, this is a way of life for people on Reservoir Avenue. But think about it. You've got Mount Hope Cemetery nearby, which is in itself a park. You've got the Lamberton Conservatory, Highland Park. This is a neighborhood that loves horticulture, and we're going to talk to these folks about it this morning. In fact, they get together. They have ice cream socials. There's a huge yard sale today on this street to raise money for an organization that they have. And, of course, we're going to get some ideas on how you can maybe bring some of this to your neighborhood. It's city living at its best when we come back.
Norma Holland is live in Rochester this morning.
Yeah, she's at a neighborhood where gardening is just the thing to do. Hey, Norma.
Hey, guys, that's right. We're on Reservoir Avenue in the city of Rochester near Highland Park. And, boy, it's buggy in the morning, isn't it? We're talking to some neighbors who really love gardening. They get together, they share plants, they have ice cream socials, all of this kind of to create a sense of community, foster a sense of neighborhood. With me this morning is Bonnie Abrams. She's one of the neighbors here on Reservoir. Bonnie, tell me about this neighborhood. You really have a lot to live up to. You've got this Lamberton Conservatory, Highland Park, the Lilac Festival. It's kind of keeping up appearances.
But I think what it is the people who choose to live here choose to do this. If you look up and down the street, I mean, the reason that we moved here was because of the gardens. My husband, who is really the more avid gardener than I am, but who doesn't get up as early in the morning as I do, who's the one who's planted basically all of our gardens. But we turned down the street one day and there was a for sale sign. And he said, I've always wanted to live on this street. And
what I love about each of these houses and each of these gardens is it has kind of a different theme, if you will. They're all kind of, they're not so manicured, right? Is that the look you're going for? You've got all wildflowers in the front.
That's what we're going for. Like I said, we each have a different theme. Susan next door likes kind of this sort of Japanese kind of garden style. When you go see Paul and Carol's, which they were in the D&C recently, they're gorgeous.
We're going to talk to them a little bit later,
And ours is wildflowers. We love poppies, and we're a little late for the other standard poppies, which you can see the little seed pods there, but we have lots of poppies, we have lots of irises. We have dahlias out now, spider plants.
The idea is, you know what? Who needs a lawnmower? I mean, you've taken your whole front yard and turned it into a garden. Did people think you were crazy at first?
Not on this street. Not on this street, because really everyone here is an avid gardener. And
what does it do for the neighborhood when you see one person doing something? Do you feel like, I better get out and do the same, or I better get out and do something too, or is that how the neighborhood kind of
it's not really
regenerates itself, so to speak?
It's not really a keeping up with the Joneses. I think we just all enjoy it, and I think each of us appreciates the differences in each of our gardens, but we all love to discuss gardens.
Do you get around together and talk about, like, well, my lavender is 10 inches tall and, you know,
well, more like we might help give each other, you know, tips. If somebody says, hi for this new plant, you know, do you have this one? Yes,
do you share plants too? And
oh, yeah, we do. We all, you know, dig up some of our plants. We have a big plant sale.
Now, speaking of plant sale, there's a big garage sale today, is there not?
Yes, today and tomorrow. Yes, there's a big garage sale in our neighborhood.
And it's to benefit, there's an organization that...
Yeah, Lilac Neighbors, which is really nice. It's our street, it's Pavilion.
I think 4 others,
and Highland, you know, a few of the streets in the area. We do a lot of things. It's a real neighborhood. There's a real sense of neighborhood here.
And that's what's key, of course, in the neighborhood. It's kind of like spreading the seeds, if you will, and you do that.
Yeah, that's a very nice metaphor, particularly for this neighborhood. That's a very nice metaphor.
You know what? Coming up, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Coming up, we're going to actually talk to some of the other neighbors. Every neighbor's just so proud of their home, and pride in ownership is what we're seeing in this neighborhood and in so many city neighborhoods. So we're going to talk to another neighbor. They've got a koi pond in their backyard that
is
very cool. I've never seen fish so big. I mean, they're bigger than my Chihuahua. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the biggest fish I've ever seen.
It's a great backyard.
Oh yeah, so much to see, you guys. We couldn't possibly show you in one show, but we're going to do our best.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Norma, you know, you can't have those for dinner tonight.
Oh, you better stop that. I could never eat that.
Okay, all right, just checking.
I love that, though. I said earlier, I mean, I loved the neighborhood that I grew up in, but we weren't nearly as close-knit. There's something to be said about knowing everybody's name on the block and, you know, good for them.
All right. We'll be right back.
I'm Rochester. This is 13 Wham News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6 o'clock on this Friday, July 14th. I'm Holly Maynard.
And I'm Doug Embledge.
And I'm Norma Holland on Reservoir Ave in the city of Rochester off of Mount Hope Avenue near Highland Park, where green thumbs abound. We're going to talk to the neighbors about their love of gardening.
All right. Thanks, Norma. It looks like a pretty place. Meteorologist Marty gardening with Norma Holland this morning. We're actually taking a tour of Reservoir Avenue, where gardening is a big thing.
That's right, Doug, but it's not just gardening that this neighborhood does together. They also have events to raise money. And one of the events today, a yard sale that you can come on down to. This is Bob Snacky. He's lived here for more than 30 years. Bob, tell me about today's sale and what it benefits.
Well, the benefit is that the funds that are raised all go toward the activities of the neighborhood.
Right.
And
you have an ice cream social?
The ice cream social is on the last weekend of May. And what we do is we, first of all, we set up here in the last week of May is actually the plant sale. And we sell the plants, and the funds that we raise are for the August ice cream social.
This is great. All kinds of events, fostering a sense of community. We're going to talk more to the neighbors and see more of their gardens, my favorite part, when we come back.
Norma Holland is live in Rochester this morning. I think infectious is the word of the morning, because years ago at this neighborhood where she is, one person decided to go all out with their front yard and backyard preps too, and then everybody else just started doing the same thing. Now it's beautiful. Good morning, Norma.
Good morning, guys. I haven't ridden a bike in so long. This is just one of the finds that you can
watch out.
find.
Just kidding.
Stop it. I know how to ride a bike.
Okay.
This is just one of the many finds that you can find here at the yard sale here on Reservoir Avenue. This was fun. This is on sale, by the way, just so you know. With me this morning is Carol and her husband. Carol's husband's name is? And I love your last name, Gardner. It's so perfect. A more perfect name there never was. Good to meet you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Now, this house, your yard, you have a front and a backyard that is just stupendous. And basically, you don't have a front yard anymore. Do you miss the lawnmower?
No, we hate lawnmowers. And we hate grass. We just soon not cut the grass.
How long have you lived in this neighborhood, Carol?
This is our 14th summer.
Yeah. And now, when did you get the idea to say, you know what, to heck with the lawnmower, we're going to start planting some flowers and plants out front and just take over the whole yard?
Well, the lawnmower broke. So in lieu of buying another one, we decided to put a garden in front.
Kind of out of necessity. Why don't we take a tour, if you will? This is beautiful. You've actually taken the front yard and put a stone or slate path through it. Talk about that.
Well, it gives you an avenue to get through the garden so you can see the whole garden from the inside, not just from the outside.
Did some people say or caution you about this? Maybe this is a big undertaking. You know, what if it doesn't look right and it looks messy?
It was a lot of work. The initial construction of the front garden was very, very, very hard. Luckily, I had her son, and I employed him to help me, but it was a lot of work.
Carol, what is it about this neighborhood? Some people would say that it's infectious. One neighbor started doing this with their yard, and before you know it, everybody's doing it and really taking care and taking pride in their property. Why don't you talk about that? How did you catch the bug?
I think it has to be in you, first of all. If you don't like to garden, you're not going to want to, you know, spend the time, because it does take time.
Does it build community?
Oh, absolutely. We all know each other's names. We have parties together. We have sales together.
Sure, plant sales, which is huge.
Plant sales.
Yeah.
We have an ice cream party at the end of this summer. And it's just a great way to get to know people in your neighborhood.
Yeah, and when you see another person's plant, you might think, gee, what's that? And before you know it, you're sharing plants and sharing stories, right?
Oh, you betcha. I mean, it's just a great neighborhood. Everybody here gets along, and we just share a lot of ideas, and we spend a lot of time with each other.
Coming up, we're going to go into your backyard, because when I walked back there, I just felt like I was in another place. It transported me. I was like, oh, Calgon, take me away. You know, they have these beautiful fish in this pond, and it's gorgeous. You're going to show us that backyard, right? I know you're very proud of it, Carol. You're like, she was so funny. She's like, yeah, our front yard's okay. You got to see the backyard. And I'm thinking, this is just okay. I wish my front yard looked like this. So we're going to go back there and check it out.
Very good. It's a lot of fun. I like looking around. Still ahead on 13 Wham News, an update. Good morning, 6:31. It's Friday, July 14th. I'm Doug Embledge.
I'm Holly Maynard.
I'm Norma Holland in the city of Rochester on Reservoir Avenue. We're in a neighborhood where people really love to garden, so much so they tear out their entire front yards and just plant flowers. We're going to go into the backyard, though, of a couple here on Reservoir.
Do you have you have their permission to do that, right?
Sort of.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Thanks, Norma.
Thanks, Norma.
Meteorologist.
Norma, yes, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, if you want some gardening ideas, she's at the place to be.
Yeah, she is at a place where they obviously have a lot of good gardening ideas. This whole street, Reservoir Avenue, is kind of a shrine of great gardens.
It really is, and if you think about it, Reservoir runs right through Highland Park, and it's right near Mount Hope Cemetery, which is a park in and of itself, Frederick Law Olmsted Park, and the Lamberton Conservatory. They got a lot to live up to here. They just can't have any old shabby lawn. So these people get together, and they love to garden. They share plants. They have events, ice cream socials. This is truly a neighborhood, and that's the beautiful thing about it. It was actually featured in the paper, too, about that same sense of neighborhood. And one of the folks, some of the people that live here, Carol and Paul Gardner. Love it. Beautiful name. So appropriate. Hi, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
I cannot wait for a tour of your backyard. We saw the front yard. The Carol was like, it's okay. And I'm thinking, the backyard, truly breathtaking. Carol, people, when they walk by your house and they say, lovely front yard, you drag them to the back.
I always drag them to the back. I say, you got to see our backyard.
Yeah.
We have water and flowers and trees and plants. And
it's a feast for the eyes and the ears. I mean, if you look, there's a beautiful pond out front here with Twangy the bullfrog, and which you put in as a tadpole 3 years ago.
That's correct, yes.
We heard Twangy a little while ago. He was making this, well, bullfrog sound. You perfected that.
Well, we talk a lot.
Now, your whole backyard is essentially a garden. It's kind of an oasis. Talk about that.
Well, it's really our summer home. This has really become our summer home. We spend a lot of time back here. We come back here and we have a lot of wine goes down in this backyard.
And that's the thing. It's kind of a retreat. You come home from work. Is this one of the first places you come to?
Absolutely. I actually go out to the pond before I go in the house. I go out to the pond, make sure the fish are okay, give them a little bit of food, say good evening, and then I go in the house.
Like pets, but they're in water, though.
They really are.
How long did it take you to actually put this pond together, or excuse me, this whole backyard together?
Well, it never really ends. I mean, it's something we started back in 1992 with the very first pond up front.
Okay, so that was your first one, and then you ended up with the other one, too.
It's a lot of collection of rocks. I mean, it took, you know, a couple, 2-3 years to collect all the rocks. Now,
the thing is, you're essentially lawnmower free. Imagine not having a lawnmower, folks. Essentially, you don't have one.
We don't, like I say, we don't even own one. We don't want one, and they're noisy.
Yeah, yeah.
And we like the backyard here a lot. We spend a lot of time back here.
That's the thing. And Holly and Doug, you got to see this pond back here. I love this. Carol, these fish, they're koi fish, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Some of them are they're bigger than like cats. They're huge. And Paul's feeding them right now. Look at that. They all run up to the top here. How long did you collect these? I mean, along with your plants?
Yes. We have had some of the fish probably about 10 years.
Do they have names?
No.
Just Twangy the bullfrog. He's the only one that got a name.
Yes, because there's just one. It's a lot easier when you have one.
How do you care for them in the wintertime? I always wondered that. How do you keep them alive in the winter?
Well, Paul runs a pipe. Instead of having the waterfall, he has the pipe come from the water, and as long as the water is circulating, the fish will be okay. It gets rid of the carbon dioxide.
Paul, these fish never had it so good.
Well, you know what? Probably the #1 question is what happens to the fish in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And we basically give them all hooded sweatshirts, and they do pretty good.
Hooded sweatshirts for the koi fish.
Yeah, you just need to keep the ice, you have to keep a hole in the ice to let the carbon dioxide escape.
I see. You're a comedian, did you know that?
No.
Yeah. You have a green thumb and a real funny bone, too, on top of that. And the lovely thing is today you're having a big yard sale. You're getting together to have a yard sale, and that's also to benefit the neighborhood as well and for the ice cream social. If you're interested in seeing this neighborhood, come on down Reservoir Avenue, right near Highland Park. Beautiful neighborhood. And if you're nice enough, maybe they'll let you see some of their ponds and some of their gardens back here. Thank you so much, guys, for letting us kind of take a tour. It was fun.
Oh, thanks for coming. We enjoyed having you.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
It was a good time. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Norma.
Okay.
Coming up, some popular headphones.
All right, Marty, thank you very much. We checking in with Norma again. Why don't we? Norma, I understand if you walk up and down this street, it's just one garden after another after another, huh?
It truly is. Everyone, it's infectious, like we said, in a good way. One neighbor does something, everyone wants to do it. We've been on Reservoir Avenue here this morning, and I'm with Carol and Paul Gardner, who've been so kind as to let me just sit down and just take it all in. It's a feast for the sight. For the ears and the eyes. I may not come back to work. What do you think?
Well, stick around. We're going to have breakfast soon.
Okay. Well, we could sit out here with the koi fish and Twangy the bullfrog. This was fun. This was fun. For more information about this neighborhood, check out our website, 13wham.com. And remember, it's just up the street. It's off Mount Hope Avenue near Highland Park. It's a beautiful street to come maybe explore.
All right. Thanks, Norma.
Thanks, Norma.
We have more coming up on Good Morning.